Savvy Young Professional podcast. And if I hadn't said this already, Happy New Year. We're rolling into 2016. I'm enjoying it. I had an amazing event last weekend. I know I talked about the Take the Lead event, and it was the first event for the Savvy Young Professional brand. And guess what? It was amazing. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about that at the end of the show. But today, we have a question from one of our listeners. I asked you all to talk to me in 2016 and let me know what it is that you want to know, and you did not hesitate. So today is a very quick show where I'll answer one of your questions. And the question is, Dear Savvy Young Professional, I am looking to move up in my position at my current company. I not only want to move up, but I would like to create a position that is brand new. How do I do this? And what are steps that I should take to make sure that I get what it is that I want? Thank you so much for sending in this question. And for the purposes of the show, I'm not going to say the name because I'm not really sure if they want me to do that. But I will answer the question. I get a lot of questions in person, especially of people asking about promotions and to make more money. But this particular situation is a little bit different because it sounds like this person wants to not only move up, but they want to move up into a position that's not even there yet. And this is pretty new in the work world just because millennials were out there and we're kind of wanting to take the lead and create what our definition of work is, and nothing's wrong with that. So I have a few different steps that you should take if you're in this position, or if you are listening, which I hope that you are since you sent the question in, to help you get in the direction of getting this promotion. First thing that you should do is you have to see your future in this job. It's really tough sometimes to ask for a promotion, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. But before you go and ask for any promotion or maybe a new position, you have to make sure that you see yourself in the job. Here's why. Your boss or your supervisor, whoever makes these decisions, they're really going to be looking for whether or not they should take a chance on you. So before you ask them, you have to know that you're going to be at that company for a while in order to see through the transition. It takes a while for you to close out your other job or maybe find a replacement, start the new position and learn that and see what it's going to feel like, especially if this is something that the company has never had. So make sure you see yourself at the company before you ask for something like this. It's not an unrealistic request, but it's definitely something that you should make sure you are okay with seeing through to the very end. So, okay, you see yourself there, you're going to stay there for a few years, you're good with your decision. The second thing you need to do is do your research. So what does that mean? If this is a position that's never been at the company that you're at, do your research and see if there's a title and description somewhere else. There's tons of websites that you can do that on. Glassdoor is extremely popular for that. You can go on Glassdoor, maybe type in some of the descriptions or the things that you'd like to see in the new position and see if you can find an actual job description and title there. I suggest that to people all the time when they're looking to check jobs and looking for what they're making in that market, in that competitive set for salaries. But you can also do this when you're looking to create a new position. Check your job sites like Indeed or Monster and just look for those keywords. If you have a State Department website where there are jobs posted, look there as well. If you can't find anything, then you'll be creating this from scratch, which is okay. Piece together different parts in different positions, and then you can come up with the new position and put a price point on there based on value. But whatever you do, make sure you do your research, and that includes researching the history of the company. Has this company that you work for ever done anything like this before? Have they created positions before out of thin air? Have they helped to facilitate new departments? Whatever it is, just make sure that your company has a history of creating new positions, and if they don't, that's totally fine, but you just need to know that going into the table so that you can tell them that you understand that this is probably a new idea. So after you do your research, it's time for the next big step, and the next big step is for you to ask. So you've done your research and it's time for you to ask. I say this just like asking for a promotion or anything of that nature. You want to make sure that you're meeting your boss in a place that is comfortable for them, because you're the one doing the ask. You want to make sure that they're in their comfort zone and that there are no interruptions, because let's just face it, it's hard to ask someone for a raise or for a new position, or especially in your case, for a position that's just created out of nowhere. But just go in there with a level of confidence and make sure that whoever it is that you're asking, that they're in their comfort zone. You don't need to be necessarily in your comfort zone because you're doing the asking. But when you are sitting down at the table, you might get some rejection, and that's fine, but you have to have your justifications. So why is it that you need this new position? What is it that is not happening in your current position that you think this new position will provide? What level of value are you going to bring to the table? These are things that you need to answer. And most importantly, you need to answer what this position might look like in the future. And that is one way to get the person's mind open into possibly the idea of creating a new job. I like to tell people when they're negotiating this type of situation, you want to make sure you have all your facts on the table, but you also have to make sure that you're appealing to the other person's objectives. So if there's some things that the boss or the person that you're pitching this idea to is not okay with, then you need to kind of meet them halfway and make sure that you have some alternative solutions. So maybe you try the position for 2 months or 3 months or something like that. Maybe it's not a permanent thing, but just get them comfortable with the idea of at least trying. Once you can do that, you've pretty much won what you wanted. At this point, it's just a matter of proving yourself worthy of this brand new title that you've created yourself. After you ask and it's on the table and you've come to a solution or a conclusion, whether that be that it's not going to happen right now, or that it will be temporary, or that they need to run it past some other people, whatever the outcome of the meeting is, the most important thing that you can do to make sure you get this new position is the direction that I think you're wanting to go in. The best thing you can do is follow up. Many people drop off at this really simple and easy thing. It's the art and the necessity of following up, because everyone expects for an ask. You know that at some point you're going to be sold to. Your employer knows at some point there are going to be employees that ask for the things that they need. So they're prepared for that at some level. But what sets you apart and what really gets you a solid deal and a close is the follow-up. So no matter what they say, make sure that you set a date on the calendar, or that you have something in mind as far as when you're going to have the conversation again. Now, these are just my suggestions, and I think that they're a pretty solid start to what it is that you want to do. I hope that this helps, and I'm going to recap just one more time. The first thing you need to do is make sure you see yourself in the company in the long run. That's going to help you do a little bit of forecasting, which is going to help them give you a yes. The second thing you want to do is do your research. Check your job boards, check your Indeeds, your Glassdoors, see what types of jobs. Maybe it's not the exact position that you're thinking of creating, but see if there are jobs along those lines of the position that you want to create, and make sure you have those salaries in front of you when you're negotiating or when you're sitting down for the ask, and just do all of the research before your meeting. The third thing is ask for the meeting, and when you ask for the meeting, ask for the promotion or ask for the new position title. It's nothing. All of this means nothing unless you ask for exactly what it is that you want. Be ready to justify this move in this new department or this new position, and make sure you give them what it's going to look like as far as a return on investment. What is your employer getting out of this deal? Forecast. Help them see into the future. The last thing is the most important thing, and that is for you to follow up. Most of the successful deals in history, most of the successful deals in any situation, especially sales, which is essentially what you're doing, you're selling them on a new idea. They become successful and they become a win-win when people follow up. So no matter what happens in the conversation, get your calendar out, set a date, set a time to have the conversation again, to follow up on what was said in the meeting. I am so happy that someone followed up on my I'm messing up right now. I'm so happy that someone followed up on our request to hear from you. This is the year of you, the listener. We want to hear more from you. If you have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at The Savvy YP, at Tanida Marie. You can find me on Facebook at The Savvy Young Professional, or you can email me like our listener did at info@thesavvyYP.com. I promised you at the end of the podcast I would tell you about the amazing women's empowerment event that we kicked off the Savvy Young Professional with this year. It was awesome. We had Kanisha Grayson as a speaker, Lila Holly, Chastity Clemens. We had great leaders in our community come out for this event, and I can't tell you how excited I am to bring these events to your city. Professional development is extremely important, and that is one of the things that we'll focus on in 2016 with the Savvy Young Professional. So make sure you are checking our website, listening to the podcast for more opportunities, and maybe I'll be in your city. You let me know. Where should I go to next with our events? Once again, Happy New Year. This is definitely the time for you to dream big and get your goals out and make sure that you are really leveling up in 2016. I hope to hear from more people asking more questions, and you already know what I'm going to say. Keep it savvy, YPs.